Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a rabbit named Mr. Thaddeus Whiskers. He was no ordinary rabbit. He wore a tailored tweed suit, a monocle perched on his left eye, and carried a polished cane. Mr. Whiskers was known far and wide for his peculiar habit of dressing and acting like a human, and his storytelling skills were legendary. One crisp autumn evening, the villagers gathered around a crackling bonfire in the town square. The air was thick with the scent of roasted chestnuts and the promise of a good tale. Mr. Whiskers stood on a wooden crate, his monocle glinting in the firelight, and cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began in a voice that was both smooth and commanding, "tonight I shall recount a story that will send shivers down your spines and make you question the very fabric of reality." The crowd leaned in, their eyes wide with anticipation. "It was a dark and stormy night, much like this one," Mr. Whiskers continued, "when young Eliza Bramble, a curious and brave girl, decided to explore the old abandoned mansion on the outskirts of the village. The mansion, as you all know, has been shrouded in mystery for decades. No one dared to enter, for it was said that the spirits of the past still roamed its halls." He paused, letting the tension build. The fire crackled, and a gust of wind made the flames dance wildly. Eliza, armed with nothing but a flickering lantern and her wits, pushed open the creaking gates. The mansion loomed before her, its windows like hollow eyes staring into her soul. She stepped inside, the floorboards groaning under her weight. The air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. Mr. Whiskers adjusted his monocle and lowered his voice to a whisper. As she ventured deeper into the mansion, she began to hear faint whispers like the rustling of leaves in the wind. But there were no trees inside, no breeze to carry such sounds. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, until they seemed to come from all around her. The villagers exchanged nervous glances, their imaginations running wild. Eliza's lantern flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. She turned a corner and found herself in a long, narrow hallway. At the end of it stood a mirror, its surface blackened with age. But as she approached, the mirror began to shimmer, and a figure emerged from within. A figure that looked exactly like her, yet different. Its eyes were hollow, its smile too wide, too sharp. Mr. Whiskers leaned forward, his voice dropping to a barely audible murmur. The doppelgänger stepped out of the mirror, its movements jerky and unnatural. Eliza tried to scream, but no sound came out. The creature reached for her, its fingers cold and clammy, and whispered, "You shouldn't have come here." The villagers gasped, their faces pale in the firelight. Just as the creature was about to grab her, Eliza's lantern flared to life, casting a blinding light. When her vision cleared, the doppelgänger was gone, and she was standing outside the mansion, the gates firmly shut behind her. She never spoke of what happened that night, but some say that if you visit the mansion on a stormy night, you might hear the whispers and see the mirror. Mr. Whiskers straightened up, his monocle catching the firelight once more. And so, dear friends, remember this: some mysteries are best left unsolved, and some doors are best left unopened. The villagers erupted into applause, their hearts still racing from the tale. Mr. Thaddeus Whiskers tipped his hat and smiled, knowing he had once again captivated his audience with a story that would linger in their minds long after the fire had died down.